الذين ينقضون عهد الله من بعد ميثاقه ويقطعون ما أمر الله به أن يوصل ويفسدون في الأرض أولئك هم الخاسرون.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل من لساني يفقهوا قولي. أما بعد, I greet my viewers, my dear Muslim brothers and sisters in Islam, with the best of all greetings by saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Today we're going to look at a very important topic. We're going to look at a topic which is mediating among people, the Islamic perspective. Allah says in Surah Al-Hujurat, Quran 49, verses 9 to 10. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإن طائفتان من المؤمنين اقتتلوا فأصلحوا بينهما فإن بغت إحداهما على الأخرى فقاتلوا التي تبغي حتى تفيء إلى أمر الله فإن فاءت فأصلحوا بينهما بالعدل وأقسطوا إن الله يحب المقسطين إنما المؤمنين إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله لعلكم ترحمون. Meaning, and if two parties among the believers fall into fighting, then make peace between them both. But if one of them outrages against the other, then fight you all against the one which outrages till it complies with the command of Allah. Then, if it complies, then make reconciliation between them justly and be equitable. Verily, Allah loves those who are equitable. The believers are but a brotherhood, so make reconciliation between your brothers and have taqwa of Allah, that you may receive mercy. Now, we can see from these verses of the Holy Quran that Islam has really touched all aspects of human endeavor. Today, just as I've earlier on said, that we're going to look at mediating among people, the Islamic perspective. Now, before we go far, let's look at meaning of mediating or mediation. What is mediating? What is mediation? As Dave said in his reports, that there was a time a man from an Ansari named Imran had a wife who was known to be Zayd. This woman wanted to visit her parents, but the husband said she shouldn't go. And as such, the woman was locked up in her room. The husband left the home. The husband left the house. Then, the woman now sends message to her parents, to her people. Afterwards, those people now came all along to pick her up. Seeing this, the people of Imran now wanted to take the woman from them. Now there was scuffle here and there, scuffle, push, shove here and there. And this led to real fights, such that they were using slippers and branches of dates to beat one another. This was brought to the hearing of the Prophet ﷺ, who later called a mediator to settle the rifts, the conflicts. And at the end of the day, this rift was settled and everybody agreed on the outcome. Now, we can see that the Prophet ﷺ actually sent a mediator. Who is a mediator, or what is mediation? When we say mediation or mediating, mediating or mediation means to resolve differences or to bring about settlements or solution between two conflicting parties. When two parties are in conflict or are fighting, are having conflicts, bringing resolve or resolving or settlements is what we call mediation. A mediator is one who negotiates between parties seeking mutual agreement. Now, from the verses that we are cited, we can see that Allah says if two parties are in conflict, we should try to settle the conflict. And if any of the parties, if one of the parties now says no, then all of us should now team up against this person until he says he agrees with Allah's words to reign. Now, we human beings, we are social beings. There is no way we will live without relating with one another. And as a result of relating with one another, there bound to be what we call conflicts. And this conflict may be brought about by so many reasons or many factors. Now, what are causes of conflict? Now, we know that conflicts may be brought about by so many reasons. The first one could be individual differences. Individual has its own differences. We have those people that are amiable. We have those people that are nagging in nature. We have those that are friendly. We have those that get irritated easily. We have those that they are the outgoing type. While we have those that don't really like mixing with people. We have people with so many differences. And if people like this relate with one another, there is bound to be conflict. Now, also, apart from that, we have what we call different personal values. What I place value on may be different from yours. And as such, if you go against my own perspective or my own values, if you try to force yours on mine, then there are bound to be conflict. At times, what I like so much or what I love so much wholeheartedly may be such that is hated by you or disliked by you, and as such, it may bring about conflict or disorder in our mode of relating. Then also we have different perspectives, just as I've said earlier on, that we have the way we perceive things, and this different perspective may be brought about as a result of because we are not from the same background. It could be brought about as a result of your background, your educational background, your family background, your position, and others. And in relating with people with high educational level, with those people of average or lower educational level, they tend to conflict, misconception or misunderstanding among themselves. Then also, another thing that may cause conflict is what we call communication issues. In these communication issues, this causes a lot of conflict among people, because we have conflict among ourselves due to interpersonal grudges and the likes. Now, in communication, we have so many aspects of communication. There are some aspects of communication that don't really need to be spoken. We have what we call para-language. The para-language are those ones that you make use of your facial expression. Some people will just wink and you will say, oh, this person is mad at me. And some will not even talk, but the way they have talked, you will know they have communicated. And some people may even read meaning to whatever you have done. And even now, when we now talk of the actual spoken words, the way we communicate, some people are very good at talking. They really know how to present their issues or their ideas. While some will just be blunt. They will just talk, and the others may get annoyed. And those people that has even talked may not even see anything that has gone wrong in what he has done. So all this, most especially the communication issue, really brings about lot of conflicts among us. And it's not only among, the conflict is brought about due to all these ones we have mentioned. It could be between husband and wife, it could be between friends, it could be in your neighborhood, it could be in a society, it could even be in a community. So all these ones are what we call causes, what we refer to as causes of conflict. And even apart from that, we can also have bullying and harassment. There are some people that are bullies in nature. They just like bullying people, and some people would always want to react. When you bully them, they will not want you to go scot-free, and that brings about conflict. Now, we want to look at the role of a mediator. The other time, we told us that a mediator is one who settles issue, who settles disputes, such that it seeks mutual agreement among the warring parties. Now, who are those that are supposed to be a mediator, and what are those things that are expected of them? The first thing is that a mediator, in an Islamic perspective, must be a professional in that line, or better still, such person must be an imam of a community that is well respected. Such person must be an elderly person that is well respected, or somebody that has had experience in that field. Then also, such person must not be impartial during the mediation process, because if you are already impartial, the other party will have known where the result will end. So the mediator should let people know that it doesn't have any stake at the end of the process of the mediation. Then also, the mediator must facilitate or must help the parties in identifying the needs and to negotiate between themselves. To negotiate, are they really ready for this mediation? Are they really ready for this settlement of conflict? So it should let them see reason. It should let them see why they should live in peace and harmony among themselves. Then also, a mediator should help the parties to communicate with one another. Okay, let them know. You should be able to call the two parties and let them know to communicate. Okay, this is what has caused the outcry. This is the reason for the dispute, and you should let them communicate. Let people voice out what they have in mind, such that it will not be as if your own opinion has been lodged or has been lured on people. Then also, just as I've earlier on said, that a mediator must be one that is respected. He must be an elderly person and must also be a professional in that field. Now, we want to look at steps in mediation. What are those steps in mediation? Now, the first one is that the mediator, as we have earlier on said, must let both parties know the reason why the mediation must take place. You must let them know the reason and the process, how the mediation is going to take place, when, and the reason for the mediation. Then the second one is that at times, in settling disputes, it may be so severe that you may not really need to call the two together at once. So the mediator may need at times to meet each of the parties separately, individually, to hear them out. Okay, what do you have to say? Let the person divulge whatever he has in mind, and you go to the other person too before you can finally call the two together. Then also, the mediator should know that information shared during this process must not be divulged out, must not be leaked out, most especially when this information are so personal and are so confidential, except if we have cases of sexual harassment or abuse and the likes. that needs legal action to be taken. Now, do we even think that this mediation help? How does it help? Yes, this mediation process really helps because one, it allows people to be heard, just as I've said earlier on, that in case of law courts, some people, out of the fact that they are higher in rank in the society, they are wealthy, they are this, they are that, may have upper hand on the other party when we take it to the law courts. But in the process of mediation, each party is heard, so it enables people to voice out their grudges. Then the second one is that it is less intimidating than the legal process. The process of mediation is less intimidating, just as I've said. You don't have to force your own idea or your own opinion on people. People will be able to talk, to speak out their minds. Then also, it provides its solutions that the parties themselves decide on. It provides solution if at the end of the day the two parties have been called to sit. This explains the reason for his grievances, and the other party too explains his reasons for his grievances. Then at the end of the day, a conclusion will now be drawn out of what they have said. Now this will now know, okay, this is what we're going to do henceforth, and the two of them will now have that sense of ownership. Okay, we actually came to the conclusion and we did it together. So it will not be as if one is being intimidated. So you know that this outcome, the outcome from the conflict resolution, was actually our own made. Then also, it can be organized quickly. It's not like the legal process that will take months, will take years before it is settled. Once you just hear of anything that is going on among people, quickly call them to order, even without even you planning for it. You can always call A and B. What is happening? And this one divulges out, it says out what he has in mind, while the other person too says out what he has in mind. And the whole thing is settled. Then also, it is usually affordable. It is avoidable by all. It is something that you can easily afford. It doesn't cost you anything. The only thing it costs you may be your time, but it doesn't cost you any money. It doesn't cost you any extra stress. So the only thing is just for you to create your time, and the conflict is settled. Now, we now look at this. Can we attempt to settle our own? Can we attempt to settle it on our own first? If there is a conflict among people or between two parties, can we settle it on our own? And I'll say yes. And actually, the best thing is for one to even settle the conflict on one's own. And what are the steps to be taken? The first one is to try as much as possible to deal directly with the person you have dispute with. If you have anything against someone, you are having conflict with someone, the best thing for you is to deal directly, even without calling a mediator now at this time around. Let the person know what the person has done. At times, you may even be the one that is even wrong. You may think what the person has done is wrong, and the person may have his or her own reason. So once you approach the person and the person tells you, this is what I had been, right? That is the end of the story. Then the next step is for you to plan a sensible time. Plan a sensible time and a place that is suitable for the two of you to discuss. Look for a place, look for a time. When are you going to discuss? How are you going to discuss it? Then the third one is that the best time for you to discuss this matter will be the time that the whole thing has cooled down, that everything is calm. You are more rational. Both parties are more rational. Because once you are annoyed and you say, oh, no, let me tell you what you have done, it escalates the conflict. So the best thing for you is to calm down first. Make sure that you are not annoyed this time around. Then call the other person to order. And I know the other person too will now be glad to listen. Then the fourth one is that you let the other party know that you are glad you had the opportunity to have spoken with him. This is an opportunity, because if you don't settle it now, do we expect this thing to linger on till the day of Qiyamah? So let the person know the evil in keeping malice or having a conflict. Then also, it's for you to determine and define the problem clearly. Okay, this is the problem. This is where I've gone wrong. Even before going to the person, this is where I've gone wrong. This is where she has gone wrong. Then you now meet the person and you determine it, and at the end of the day, you conclude, you decide on what to do. Then also, you think carefully about what you're going to say, how you're going to say it. You must have your choice of words is very, very important. What you say, how you say it is very, very important. When you are deciding meeting the person, the other party, then also you now bring all these issues to open, all the issues that might cause these rifts to open, and it doesn't take you anything to say sorry. Both parties say sorry, and that is the end of the conflict. So alhamdulillah rabbil alamin, we hope that this little we have heard today will really go a long way to assist us in having a very good interpersonal relationship amongst us, and we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us all our shortcomings. Say Ramadan Kareem to all. Assalamu alaikum. Once again, my name is Mutiat Olushesi.
That is for Deen al-Islam, religion with Allah since time began. That is for dhikr, remembering Allah, and Ra is for the month of Ramadan. Oh, Ramadan. That is for zakah, to cure our greed, when we give our money to those in need. Sa is for salamun alaykum, peace be with you, wa alaykum as-salam.